Somewhere in Canada tonight, a woman in her 50s is standing at a bathroom mirror in Mississauga, pressing anti-aging cream into the lines around her eyes before bed. In Calgary, a man is doing the same thing he started doing last year, when he noticed the cold prairie wind had aged his face faster than he expected. In Halifax, in Montreal, in Surrey, the last thing millions of Canadians touch every single night is a small jar that promises to turn back time. Canadians spend an estimated $1.7 billion a year on facial skincare, and the fastest growing slice of that is anti-aging, wrinkle creams, retinol, lifting serums, the products we trust most, applied to the thinnest, most absorbent skin on the human body, the face. But here's what nobody is telling Canadians. On the 5th of March, 2025, the Government of Canada published its final State of PFAS report and concluded that the entire class of forever chemicals, excluding fluoropolymers, is toxic to human health and the environment. The government's own risk management plan named cosmetics as a Phase 2 priority for prohibition. That prohibition is still pending. And this is not theory. On the 2nd of February 2026, Environment and Climate Change Canada fined Estée Lauder Cosmetics $750,000 for using banned forever chemicals in products sold to Canadians. Meanwhile, the corporate family that proposed and originally offered $8.9 billion to settle baby powder cancer lawsuits still owns one of the most recommended wrinkle creams in this country. 7 brands exposed, 3 Canadian brands worth your money. And the Johnson & Johnson story, it's coming at brand number 2. Don't skip ahead. This is the true North Shelf, where the labels get read so the truth gets told. Let's dive in. Before getting into the brands, 2 things every Canadian needs to understand about what's happening on the anti-aging aisle. First, anti-aging cream is leave-on, and it goes on the most absorbent skin you have. Unlike a cleanser you rinse off, a wrinkle cream is designed to sit on your face all night, every night, for years. And facial skin is thinner and more permeable than the skin on your hands or your body. When a formula contains a fragrance allergen, a paraben, or a penetration enhancer, the face is exactly where it gets the deepest, longest contact. The Government of Canada's State of PFAS report reviewed thousands of cosmetic products notified to Health Canada and found that the large majority of PFAS-containing cosmetics are leave-on products. Anti-aging cream is leave-on. Second, the words on the front of the jar are not regulated the way you think. In Canada, hypoallergenic has no legal definition. Health Canada does not regulate the term. Dermatologist recommended, clinically proven, and anti-aging are marketing claims, not chemistry guarantees. A brand can print any of them on the front, while the back of the jar tells a very different story. Leave-on, on your face, all night, for years. Marketing on the front, chemistry on the back. Keep both points in mind. Brand number 1. And this one sets the bar for the entire category. Olay Regenerist Micro Sculpting Cream. The jar in every Walmart Canada beauty aisle, every Shoppers Drug Mart, every London Drugs, every Costco Canada multi-pack. For roughly 30 to 40 Canadian dollars, it is one of the best-selling anti-aging creams in the country. The marketing promise is right there in the name. Regenerist, regenerate, micro-sculpting. Olay is owned by Procter & Gamble, the Cincinnati consumer goods giant behind Tide, Gillette, Pampers, and Old Spice, one of the largest advertising spenders on the planet. Here's the micro-sculpting cream original formula on its full INCI. Water, glycerin, niacinamide, dimethicone, a peptide, green tea extract, and then, further down the list, 3 preservatives: ethylparaben, methylparaben, propylparaben, followed by the word fragrance. So the same jar that promises to regenerate aging skin contains a paraben triple and an undeclared fragrance blend, applied to the face every night. Parabens are a category the European Cosmetics Regulation moved to restrict, propylparaben and butylparaben specifically, back in April 2015, over endocrine disruption concerns. Health Canada has not banned parabens in cosmetics. The cosmetic ingredient hot list still does not list them as a prohibited category. Honest disclosure. But a cream that sells Regeneration on the front and carries a 3-paraben preservative system plus fragrance on the back is the template for everything wrong with this aisle. And brand number 2 is where this gets serious. Because that brand's corporate family is the same one that proposed billions to settle cancer lawsuits over what it put on baby skin. Brand number 2. And this one is the corporate expose. Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Retinol Regenerating Cream. The retinol cream that built the modern drugstore anti-aging category. Every Shoppers Drug Mart, every London Drugs, every Walmart Canada, every Pharmaprix in Quebec. The brand a generation of Canadians trusts as the dermatologist drugstore pick. Neutrogena was a Johnson & Johnson brand for decades. In May 2023, Johnson & Johnson spun off its consumer health division into a separate public company called Kenvue, listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker KVUE. Neutrogena is now under Kenvue. Aveeno is now under Kenvue. Listerine, Tylenol, Band-Aid, all Kenvue. But the corporate legacy is what matters. In April of 2023, Johnson & Johnson proposed a settlement of $8.9 billion United States dollars, paid over 25 years, to resolve roughly 38,000 pending lawsuits, alleging that its talc-based baby powder caused ovarian cancer and mesothelioma. That offer was later revised to approximately $6.475 billion in present value. In September 2024, a Johnson & Johnson subsidiary called Red River Talc filed a prepackaged Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of Texas to resolve current and future claims. In April 2025, that bankruptcy was rejected by the court. Johnson & Johnson has consistently maintained that its talc was safe and never contained asbestos. That is the corporate family that owned Neutrogena for decades and still holds the formulation rights under the Kenvue banner. Now the formula. Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Retinol Regenerating Cream lists, on its full INCI, retinol as the active. And it works. Retinol is a real, clinically supported anti-aging ingredient. That part is true. But the same INCI also lists fragrance, phenoxyethanol, chlorphenicin, and BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, a synthetic preservative the David Suzuki Foundation flags as a suspected endocrine disruptor. And the active itself, retinol, is exactly the kind of vitamin A derivative that medical guidance routinely tells pregnant Canadians to avoid. A retinol cream is not a product to be casual about. Yet it sells over the counter with a fragrance blend and a flagged preservative built right in. A real active, wrapped in a carrier, full of the exact synthetics this channel keeps finding. Sold by the corporate family still litigating a multi-billion-dollar cancer settlement. This next brand has the European pharmacy endorsement, the hypoallergenic positioning, and it does perform, but the loophole is in the marketing. Brand number 3 is Eucerin Hyaluron Filler Anti-Age Cream. Let me be honest about something first. Eucerin performs. Real hydration, real barrier support. Canadian pharmacists stock it behind the counter at Pharmaprix and Jean Coutu in Quebec. The brand runs European clinical trials going back decades. That part isn't marketing. That part is true. Eucerin is owned by Beiersdorf, the German conglomerate behind Nivea. Beiersdorf is one of the oldest skincare companies in the world, founded in 1882. But Eucerin built its Canadian positioning on the word hypoallergenic, and in Canada, hypoallergenic has no legal definition. Health Canada does not regulate the term. The Canadian Cosmetics Framework allows almost any product to be labeled hypoallergenic if the manufacturer simply believes it is less likely to cause an allergy. The standard is the manufacturer believes. The Eucerin anti-age formulas are built on hyaluronic acid, which is real and active, sitting in a standard carrier that includes phenoxyethanol and the brand's fragrance system. The hyaluronic acid does the work. You are paying for the active and absorbing the carrier. When a product performs because of one good ingredient buried in a conventional synthetic base, the performance is not the same thing as a clean formulation. Hypoallergenic on the front does not mean fragrance-free on the back. Brand number 4 is L'Oréal Paris Revitalift, the most heavily advertised anti-aging line in Canada. Revitalift is on every drugstore shelf in the country: Shoppers Drug Mart, London Drugs, Walmart Canada, Jean Coutu, Pharmaprix, and it sits in the affordable tier, roughly 25 to 40 Canadian dollars, which is exactly why it is in so many Canadian bathrooms. Revitalift is owned by L'Oréal, the French beauty giant that is the single largest cosmetics company on earth, and the same parent we will meet again 2 brands from now. The Revitalift anti-wrinkle formulas are built around retinol palmitate, a gentler vitamin A ester, alongside the brand's pro-retinol marketing. But read the full INCI, and you find, near the very top of several Revitalift creams, alcohol denat, denatured alcohol, used high in the formula. You also find parfum. Retinol palmitate is the same class of vitamin A derivative the David Suzuki Foundation flags for accelerating UV damage on skin, and that medical guidance tells pregnant Canadians to be cautious with. So the affordable, mass-advertised, trusted name anti-aging cream is a vitamin A derivative and a fragrance blend, carried high in denatured alcohol, on facial skin, overnight. L'Oréal has not been cited in any Canadian regulatory action for Revitalift. Honest disclosure. But mass market and trusted is not the same thing as clean and transparent. Quick pause, because this matters. If this investigation is useful to you, the single most important thing you can do right now is subscribe to the True North shelf. Not just like, subscribe. Here's the honest reason. The algorithm only shows this kind of consumer reporting to other Canadians when enough of you subscribe. A like helps. A subscribe is what actually tells YouTube to put this in front of the next Canadian standing at a drugstore shelf trying to read a label they can't decode. So hit subscribe, then hit like. The next 3 brands? You almost certainly have one of them on your bathroom counter right now. Brand number 5 is No 7, Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced. No 7 is the British skincare brand from Boots, and in Canada it is sold exclusively at Shoppers Drug Mart and Pharmaprix. That exclusivity is the whole marketing story. No 7 is the line a television documentary once called "clinically proven to reduce wrinkles," and Boots has leaned on that headline for almost 20 years. No 7 is owned by Walgreens Boots Alliance, the American-British pharmacy conglomerate. 2 things Canadians should know. First, the formula. The number 7 Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced creams are built on peptides and retinol palmitate, sitting in a carrier that includes phenoxyethanol and the brand's parfum system. Same vitamin A ester plus fragrance pattern you've now seen 4 times. Second, and this is on the public record, Health Canada has posted a recall notice for a number 7 Restore and Renew face and neck day cream sold in Canada, flagged because it did not have the required authorization for one of its claims. That is a Health Canada recalls and safety alerts entry. Honest disclosure, it is an authorization and labeling matter, not a contamination finding. But when a brand sells itself on the words clinically proven, a regulator flagging one of its products for an authorization problem is exactly the kind of detail the marketing never mentions. Clinically proven is a claim. Exclusively at Shoppers is a distribution deal. Neither one is a clean ingredient list. Brand number 6 is Vichy LiftActiv. Vichy sells itself as French pharmacy skincare, dermatological, backed by thermal spa water from the town of Vichy. It is stocked behind the skincare counter at Shoppers Drug Mart, London Drugs, and every Pharmaprix in Quebec, and it sits in the premium tier, often 50 to 70 Canadian dollars a jar. Here is the part the pharmacy shelf halo hides. Vichy is owned by L'Oréal, the same L'Oréal that owns Revitalift, brand number 4 on this list. So the affordable drugstore cream and the premium pharmacy cream, marketed as completely different worlds, come from the same corporate parent. The LiftActiv anti-age creams are real performers, built on niacinamide, peptides, and the brand's actives. But read the full INCI and, like Revitalift, you find alcohol denat used high in the formula, near the top of the list, in several LiftActiv products. Denatured alcohol high in a leave-on facial cream is a formulation choice that helps texture and penetration, and that can stress a compromised skin barrier over time. When the budget brand and the premium pharmacy brand are the same company, using the same denatured alcohol carrier, you are not buying two philosophies. You are buying one company, twice, at two price points. Brand number 7 is RoC Retinol Correxion Deep Wrinkle Night Cream. The retinol night cream every Canadian who has ever researched wrinkles has seen recommended. Shoppers Drug Mart, London Drugs, Walmart Canada, Pharmaprix. RoC was founded in Paris in 1957 and built its reputation on stabilized retinol. The science heritage is real, but the ownership is the story. RoC is no longer the independent French dermatology house its marketing evokes. In January 2024, the European private equity firm Bridgepoint announced its acquisition of RoC Skincare in a deal widely reported around $500 million. Before that, RoC had been owned by another private equity firm, Griffin Investors. So the trusted retinol brand has been a private equity portfolio asset, passed from one fund to the next. The Deep Wrinkle Night Cream is built on RoC's stabilized retinol, a real active, in a standard night cream carrier. And retinol, again, is a vitamin A derivative that medical guidance routinely tells pregnant Canadians to avoid, sold over the counter with no gatekeeping at all. So when a skincare forum recommends RoC as the affordable retinol that really works, the brand they are recommending is a private equity asset whose owner changed hands as recently as 2024. The retinol may be stabilized. The ownership is anything but. That's 7 brands. A Procter & Gamble Paraben Triple, a Johnson & Johnson Talc Legacy under Kenvue, a Beiersdorf Hypoallergenic Loophole, L'Oreal Twice, Budget and Premium, a Walgreens Boots Alliance Recall, and a French heritage brand that's now a private equity portfolio line. 7 brands. A pending federal prohibition on PFAS in cosmetics. A $750,000 fine already handed to one global cosmetics company for using banned forever chemicals in products sold to Canadians. Paraben triples, retinol palmitate, denatured alcohol, and fragrance on the most absorbent skin you have every night for years. That's the Canadian anti-aging aisle in 2026. But good anti-aging skincare is not actually complicated. Vitamin C. A gentle retinol alternative. Peptides. Plant oils rich in vitamin A and antioxidants. A clean carrier. The complexity on that drugstore shelf is corporate, not chemical. Here are 3 Canadian brands that get it right. And all 3 are built in one city, Toronto, by founders who publish exactly what's inside. Hero number 1. Consonant Skin & Care. Made in Toronto, Ontario, and proudly Canadian-owned. Consonant is one of the country's most awarded clean skincare lines, and it built its reputation on radical ingredient transparency, formulating its products free of more than 3,000 questionable ingredients. For anti-aging, the brand offers a natural retinol alternative serum, a maximum strength glycolic serum, and an anti-aging night cream with hyaluronic acid, ceramides, and niacinamide. The full INCI is published openly. No parfum loophole hiding a fragrance blend. Consonant donates 1% of all sales to ocean-bound plastic cleanup. You'll find it at well.ca, Shoppers Drug Mart, Holt Renfrew, and the brand's own site, with anti-aging products generally in the 30 to 60 Canadian dollar range. It's the most accessible clean upgrade on this list. Hero number 2, Graydon Skincare. Founded in Toronto by Graydon Moffat, who built the line specifically for sensitive aging skin, clinically proven, vegan, and cruelty-free. The brand's hero anti-aging product is the Full Moon Serum, a water-based natural retinol alternative built around plant-based retinol from mothbean seed, plus botanical collagen, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, and peptides. That matters because it delivers the wrinkle-smoothing benefit Canadians want from retinol without the vitamin A derivative caution that comes with every conventional retinol cream on the villains list. Graydon publishes full ingredients, is made in Canada and is sold at well.ca, independent Canadian clean beauty shops, and the brand's own website. The Full Moon Serum retails around 55 to 65 Canadian dollars. And hero number 3, Province Apothecary. Founded in 2011 in Toronto by Julie Clark, who struggled with severe eczema her whole life, studied aromatherapy and holistic skincare, and then built both a product line and a clinic in downtown Toronto. Province Apothecary is small batch and hand-blended in their Toronto facility, certified organic where possible, completely free of petroleum, parabens, synthetic fragrance, and GMOs, and it publishes its full sourcing on the company website. For aging skin, the brand's rejuvenating and hydrating face serum and its nourishing and revitalizing moisturizer use cold-pressed organic plant oils, rosehip, raspberry seed, sea buckthorn, frankincense, naturally rich in vitamin A and antioxidants. No parfum loophole, no private label opacity. Serums and moisturizers generally run in the 40 to 70 Canadian dollar range. For the Canadian who wants anti-aging from someone who built her own clinic because of her own skin, this is the brand. 3 brands, 1 city. Full ingredient lists you can actually read. Anti-aging cream should be one of the most honest products in any Canadian bathroom. A real active. A clean carrier. A label that tells you the truth. But somewhere between the laboratory and the shopper's drug mart shelf, certain brands found ways to complicate that. A paraben triple under a word like Regenerist. A fragrance blend on the most absorbent skin you have. A trusted name quietly traded between private equity funds. And a federal PFAS prohibition for cosmetics that has not yet become final law. 3 questions to ask before any jar goes onto a Canadian face. Is the corporate parent a global conglomerate or a private equity fund? Or is it a small Canadian company that publishes everything? Does the brand list its complete INCI without hiding behind the word parfum? And does the active you're paying for actually need the fragrance, the parabens, and the denatured alcohol that came with it? If the label can't answer all 3, put it back. And one last thing, if this helped you read a label tonight, subscribe to the True North Shelf, hit like, and the full source guide for every claim in this video is in the description below. We read the labels so you don't have to. This is the True North Shelf. Stay safe, stay educated. Thanks for watching.